This is another Golden Age comic book. Classics Illustrated. The Pioneers by James Fenimore Cooper. This was a comic book Classics Illustrated they put out because I guess some people were concerned that all these American kids were reading all these comic books. So they came out with this one. It's Classics Illustrated. They adopt classic literature, novels, and such into comic book form. I've never read the Pioneers, so the novel or whatever, the literature version. So, I guess these comics, Classics Illustrated, they lasted a pretty good while. So maybe I don't know if kids wanted them more, their parents pushed them on them. Parents who didn't want their kids reading Tales from the Crypt or Batman wanted them to get some literary references now. I guess it's kind of like could be good. It's kind of like almost like a comic book Cliff Notes version. If you had to read one of these novels for class, just get the comic book. I sold this one on eBay also, but not for very much. Way below price guide value. There wasn't very much demand for this one. People are more interested in Batman or Tales from the Crypt or Superman or Spider-Man than they are a classic novel in comic book form. I'm guessing they would have to cut out a bunch of stuff. I don't know how you could fit an entire piece of literature or novel into a comic book. I guess it's a pretty good lengthy comic book. They don't have as many ads as a typical comic book. Quite a few pages here. The artwork's not too spectacular. Adequate, I guess. It does have a lot of reading to do here, more than your average comic book, that's for sure. And this is one of the many reprints because they had a bunch of reprints. Classics Illustrated. It's kind of a confusing title to collect. That's why I think a lot of people stay away from it. like each issue, they got like 12 different versions of each issue. If you don't know what you're doing, it's kind of confusing. I think this is the second printing. 37A. They letter each of the different versions. A, B, C, D, E, etc. James Fenimore Cooper. They have a little biography about the author of the book. Jungle Promise. There's an ad for more Classics Illustrated they have. Hunchback of Notre Dame, Tale of Two Cities, Dr. Jekyll, Prince and the Pauper. It's a color ad on the back. Interesting. I may have to read this thing to get educated here. Cover's not bad. That's it.